I altered my uniform to comply with the dress code in my employee handbook. Back when I, now a 37F, was younger with a lot of attitude and a loud mouth, I worked for a nice Italian restaurant in my hometown. I didn't have a single issue with management until 7 months into my employment when a male manager joined the team. He was a bit of a misogynist. He would make backhanded comments about women, and he only had issues with the female staff. He wrote me up for some ridiculous reasons. One being opening the dock door too hard, when it was a heavy steel door that you had to put some muscle into to open. He fired another lady who was pregnant for asking to be put in a section closest to the kitchen. She filed a lawsuit and won too. One day, I walked into work. He pulled me into the office immediately and presented me with a write-up slip. It was because I was not wearing a belt. The dress code stated, if pants have belt loops, a belt must be worn. Okay, my uniform that day didn't comply with the dress code. The issue was that I hadn't worn a belt in 7 months while he and the other managers never mentioned it. In my opinion, the appropriate thing to say would have been, hey, I see you haven't been wearing a belt and we haven't been enforcing it. Dress code says you must wear a belt if you have belt loops. I'll give you X amount of days to purchase one before I start enforcing. I just got a straight write-up, so I went home and cut off all the belt loops off all of my work pants. The next day, immediately upon walking in, he asked where my belt was. I pointed to my pants and said, "Where are my belt loops?" The employee handbook stated, if there are belt loops, but I no longer had belt loops. Let's just say it didn't make him like me anymore. But I felt like a hero standing up to him in such a petty manner. As someone who used to manage people in a few different environments, my criteria for choosing a battle over anything was simple. If I take this on, how much more money will it make any of us? If the answer wasn't a definite positive, I pretty much looked the other way. Being a petty twatwaffle never helps a business. Ever. Rules lawyering: the employee handbook in response to a newly and unevenly enforced minor infraction. It's one of my favorite categories here. Nice one. So you found a loophole. Oh, that is a wonderful solution. So simple, so easy, so very malicious. I'm proud of you for thinking of that. I thought this was a repost. But no. It seems like a common enough story that others have posted similar experiences. https www.reddit.com/r/maliciouscompliance/comments/7msv0r/no-don't-have-a-belt/ https www.reddit.com/r/maliciouscompliance/comments/ixer6d/no-belt-loops=no-belt/ https www.reddit.com/r/maliciouscompliance/comments/fh84bp/what I can't wear a belt if I wanted to/ My grandson didn't get a right UO, he did get a talking to for wear shorts to work at WS. He showed his supervisor the poster. Right behind him, that supported natural hair with a group cartoon characters in employee uniform blue vests. The poster read, "We respect your style." One of the characters was wearing shorts. The next day the poster was gone. I always wondered if they were gone company-wide. Awesome commitment. Removing the loops, and not messing around. Or wear the loudest off-color belt you could find. Something clashes with the uniform. Or is so busy with designs that it makes you nauseous to look at it. I have a coworker who did the exact same thing because she hates wearing belts. My manager laughed and high-fived her for her cleverness. Love that you did that. I had a similar issue at a call center. They were anti-hoodies, sweatshirts, but said fleece materials were okay. I wore a hooded fleece and said I couldn't wear it. Anyone worked at call centers know loads of BS. My boss's boss called me on it and I had the girl next to me cut the hood right off in front of him. Always take advantage of the belt loophole. Good job for not buckling under the pressure. Hey, Steve has 30 pieces of flair. Unless you want to do the bare minimum, add some flair. Too late, but you could have sewed the loops together for suspenders to rub it in. That's hilarious. I didn't this exact same thing when I was going to a middle school that had this dress code. I went home and cut the belt loops off of every single pair of pants I had. I was hoping this story ended with one of those awful spiky plastic belts in the obnoxious neon colors. Or anything else straight out of Hot Topic from the early 2000s, loudly crying tears of joy. Especially given your age and the timeline. Could have had a lot of fun. I once got written up for not wearing a belt. I was called in on my day off for covering for someone. I let them know I would never fill in for a shift again. They tried to backpedal, but damage was done at that point. Had a manager, not mine, grab me by my belt loops in the back as I was bent over the case, working a box to the shelf and shaking me while asking where my belt was. I nearly elbowed her in the eye socket, thinking that I was getting assaulted by a too friendly customer. So, I went out and bought the sparkliest of the sparkle belts possible in my ample size and wore it to work. She tried to say that it was inappropriate. I told her to tell my manager that. When she did that in front of me, I asked if he was really complaining about a black belt with glitter or was he just checking out my ass. Guess who never had that boss mention my belt again. Ever. Bossman knew what was up as I'd mentioned the assault and he didn't like that she was trying to manage his people when hers were so faulty. He didn't gaff if I wore a belt. Only if I could stock a shelf and not smack customers that got too friendly. My pleasure. My ass. And here I was thinking you were going to get some box ties and leave it at that. Another petty way to comply would have been to buy a very loud and obnoxious belt at Spencer's Gifts or Hot Topic. Unless OFC it specified black-brown belt. But even then could also get black studded belt or something like that. Is always fun to comply with petty managers only to show them how ridiculously micromanaging they are for the sake of feeling big and important.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.